Ready? Hello.
Hi, Mr. Chowdhury. Great.
Kevin here.
Yep, I can hear you. Fantastic. All right. We're waiting one more minute for, we're expecting Miss Ayash.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Kevin, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hi, assalamu alaikum everyone. It's Jihan.
All right, perfect. We have 5 members with us. As soon as Mr. Chowdhury, we can hear him, but he's having a hard time hearing us. So hopefully he can figure that out. All right, so
Hello.
I'm gonna. Yep. Can you hear us, Mr. Chowdhury? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order at 4:02. I will also take roll and go right down the list here. One moment. Mr. Major's present. Mr. Hadwan. Mr. Lucas.
Present.
Ms. Schrodek. Mr. Obaid.
Present.
Mr. Chowdhury, who we know is here. Indicate him as present, please. And Miss Ayash.
Here.
All right. We have a quorum. One moment, please. I apologize. Mr. Chowdhury is calling me. I'm going to see if I can quickly help him. Okay, unfortunately, we're going to have to carry on here, I think, without Mr. Chowdhury, but we still have a quorum. That brings us to resolution number 1, acceptance of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
By Mr. Obaid, do we have a second?
Okay.
By Mr. Lucas, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education accepts and approves the agenda with any additions or deletions. All in favor, Mr. Obaid?
Yes.
Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Ms. Ayash?
Aye.
And Mr. Chowdhury, if you can hear us? Major, aye in favor. The motion carries. Thank you very much. And before we tackle our next few components here, I just want to say to our audience members and our presenters tonight, everyone, thank you as usual for your flexibility. Obviously, these are unusual times and unusual methods for doing the work that we know has to be done. So it is still valuable, and we appreciate you being flexible and working with us in this forum. And we hope to get some valuable information tonight. Mrs. Ahmed, are there any student presentations?
We do not have any student presentations tonight.
Okay. They'd probably be the best at navigating this forum with us. We do not have any audience participation submitted before the meeting. Is there anyone present who wishes to contribute? Just unmute yourself and acknowledge yourself, and I will let you know when to begin. I'll wait a moment again if there's anyone who wishes to participate.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Chowdhury, welcome back.
Okay.
We are at public participation, waiting to see if anybody wants to contribute. I don't think there is anyone. Okay.
That's it. Wait, Chobi,
Then moving on, I have no correspondence. Is there any updated correspondence, Mrs. Ahmed?
No, we do not have any updated correspondence.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Then on to resolution number 2, approval of consent agenda items. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
By Mr. Obaid. Do we have a
Lucas.
Second by Mr. Lucas. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that the Board of Education approves the following items under the consent agenda. Minutes from our regular meeting on April 15th, from our special meeting on April 27th, and our committee meeting on April 27th. Retirement of Lindell Bruley, longtime district employee and social worker from the high school. And acceptance of resignation of Bradley Ho, our math teacher from Holbrook. All in favor, Mr. Obaid,
Aye.
Mr. Lucas,
Yes.
Ms. Ayash,
Aye.
Mr. Chowdhury,
Yes.
and Mr. Major in favor. Aye. The motion carries. Thank you all. Mrs. Ahmed, please send a special thank you to Ms. Bruley, who's done some really good work for a long time.
I sure will. Thank you.
On to board discussion. Does anybody have anything for the group?
Lucas speaking.
Go ahead, Mr. Lucas.
Evan, this is in regards to my little discussion with you in regards to the senior graduation.
Yeah, I think Mrs. Ahmed, if you don't mind, could you just address that question briefly right now for Mr. Lucas? I shared it with Mrs. Ahmed, Mr. Lucas.
Hey, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us tonight. So in regards to our seniors class of 2020, we are continuing with the tradition to have their senior photos.
I'm sorry, Evan. Someone has muted themselves, so I can't hear Mrs. Ahmed.
Okay, so to the group, if you are not muted and you have any background sound at all, it makes it difficult for everyone else to hear. So if you could please temporarily mute yourself when you are not speaking, or make sure your background is very quiet. Okay, thanks, Mr. Lucas. Sorry, Mrs. Ahmed. Go ahead.
No problem. So in regards to class 2020, we do want to honor this important milestone. We do want to recognize this milestone and their achievements. So we are working with the Hamtramck review to ensure that we have the photos in the Hamtramck review. There was a survey that we shared with families, and the survey based on, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I think Mr. Chowdhury, you need to mute yourself by hitting, if you're on your phone, *6.
Okay, he's
or if
got
you're
it.
on video, by pushing the little button that looks like a microphone on your screen.
Yes.
Okay, there.
Okay. Perfect.
Go ahead.
So again, we are going to continue with the tradition to have our students' photos on the Hamtramck review. We also, and Mr. Verona could give the updated details, but based on the last information I received, there was a survey asking students and families if they prefer a traditional commencement or online, because I think there's a variety of school districts that are doing the online, the virtual commencement, and we have 90% are opting for the traditional commencement. So with that being said, we are going to monitor and follow the guidelines from our governor when it is safe to hold a commencement and honor our students. So that's in the plans. We met last week with we had a virtual meeting with the MASA, and they walked us through when would be the best date to have a commencement. And they looked at September 7th being, and again, you've got a lot of scientists that shared the data and looking at when will we flatten the curve and when will it will be safe to have people. And it's a projected date of September 7th. We're looking at all ideas, exploring all options to honor our students, but at the same time to ensure that we are safe.
Thank you. Is that good, Mr. Lucas?
Thank
That
you.
answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other discussion from board members?
Yes. I have a question
Go
for the
ahead.
board members on the team. What are your thoughts on you guys being more accessible on the website? Because I had noticed that our email, like our district email addresses, were not available. So I had asked Mark to put mine in the contact directory. Does the board feel comfortable adding all of theirs? I feel like as civil servants, we should be accessible to the people that want to reach us.
I wasn't aware that they weren't on there. They previously were. I know that for a fact. Maybe when the new website was transitioned, for some reason that was removed. I'm glad you noticed that.
So you guys would be comfortable with putting everyone's like your district emails on the contact sheet?
I think we're obligated to be able to be contacted by the community.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of our role. What does everyone else think? Without hearing any opposition, it sounds like we need to update our website with, and just to note, I think at the same time that the website is being overhauled in general. Is that correct, Mrs. Ahmed?
Yes, that's correct. It's in transition and we're working on it. I'm wondering if, Mark, are you available? Could you share a little bit about the information regarding the phishing and some other things that you were trying to be preventative about?
Perfect. Thanks, Mark.
So is the way that you're doing that a way that you feel comfortable with security wise? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. So just to be clear, it will be like a click through from where our names are located. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Sounds good. Does that work for you, Miss Ayash?
Yeah, no, Mark did it from right away
Cool.
because I had noticed it wasn't accessible. So I appreciated him doing that. But I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that my colleagues are aware of that because
Yeah.
we need to be accessible since we are representing our community. I just didn't understand why it wasn't something you guys were doing. But
Yeah.
mine's is taken care of. So I was just letting you guys know. And then another thing I had is I wanted to review the upcoming agenda. The upcoming calendar, because I know we have 2 more dates in May. Are we anticipating anything for June?
We have 2 more dates for May, correct? Which I shared with the group in an email, and received no responses for any conflicts. So hopefully that is still the case. And then June, the regular meeting date is, we have not adjusted it at this point from the second Wednesday. And I don't know that it's needed to be adjusted. If anyone has any information there to share, please do. But then we also have the special meeting on the 25th of June. Is there
What's the
anything?
special meeting for?
Superintendent evaluation.
Isn't that the 6:31 on the 28th in May? Isn't that the first part of that?
Correct.
How long is that one going to run for?
I think we have reserved 3 hours, but I do not anticipate using that full amount of time.
Yeah, we're looking at about an hour and a half based on the agenda for that day.
Got it. And then we're still under the assumption that all these meetings are going to have digitally, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and then Dennis brought up the graduation, so thank you. And then I did want to bring this up because I did reach out to the super about it. I've had community members ask me about the food stipend you got for your students, and I know in other districts they were offering, but people got their stipends for that, and so I just wanted to reach out.
Can you clarify what you're referring to?
Yeah, Ms. Ahmed can explain it better, but people were getting like refunds for meals that the school provides, and it wasn't like a district by district thing, it was like a statewide thing. Ms. Ahmed, what was it called?
So basically, our school district and a variety of other school districts that were receiving free lunches for the students. Parents will be receiving per child about $190, and this is through the state. It will be sent straight to their residents, and some have already started to receive that, and it's per child.
You're talking about the additional food assistance benefits based on the free and reduced lunch list, correct?
Correct.
Right. Yeah. What was your question about that, Ms. Ayash?
No, not a question. I just wanted to bring it up in discussion for the board because I've had families in the district approach me about it. So I wanted to let you guys know if you were approached, it's the same thing.
Yeah. So it has nothing to do with the school district itself. So people do ask. It is, administered by the state. Anyone that already has a bridge card, it should be directly deposited onto their account. And then for those that don't, then I think is when the paper check version comes in. But yeah, I can send out a fact sheet on that I sent to some of my families also, actually, to the group if you want more information.
Yeah, if there's a fact sheet, send it over. But I was getting questions on it, so I don't know if you guys were getting the same questions.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of confusion out there about that. All right.
Yes, and the name of it is the Pandemic Electronic Benefit Transfer Program. and it's for children in the ages of 0 to 26 that are eligible for free and reduced lunches.
Thank you, Mrs. Ahmed.
You're welcome.
All right. Anything else?
Yep.
Mr. Evans?
One more. Dennis,
Okay.
can I go first? Or
Yeah, go ahead,
Sure.
Gian.
thank you. I wanted to also bring up, have we had a chance, or is this going to be a Cal meeting discussion where we update some of our policies that require state-issued form of identification for things? We talked about it at the last meeting, at the Cal, I think.
Right. We asked the superintendent to prepare. We didn't give her a date. We said at a time when is appropriate and convenient for her team to compile a review of those policies. Would you like, well, why don't we just ask her, Mrs. Ahmed, if you have some thoughts on when that might be something that can be completed?
I could look to prepare something for next Monday.
Thank you.
Okay. And again, that's a review of our current policies that may need to be adjusted to accommodate parents with identification problems, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think it's, Mrs. Ahmed, can you also note, I know for enrolling students into the system, into our district, if there's an exception to that policy, when I looked it up on the website, it's still required specific identification.
There is an exception. We have a form that families that do not have an ID fill out, and we work with them. And I could be prepared to share that with you on the 18th.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, Dennis, take it away.
Thank you. Just a clarification. I did not hear the amount of money that was given per student, and I didn't hear how often that check would be given out to the student. Is it by week or by the month?
It's on a monthly basis, and I believe it is $190 per child.
$109, you said?
190.
90.
Yes.
Okay.
It's automatically preloaded for students that have a bridge card, and I can verify all the information and share it with you as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a community member on the line who wishes to make public comment. Is the group okay with us inserting that now? So given
Yes.
that this is a unique circumstance, they missed the opening.
I don't have no problem.
Okay.
Lucas, yes.
Okay, thank you. So Mr. Zuber, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Great. Okay. Could you just identify yourself, name, address? You don't have to give your address. If you have any kids in the school district, what school they go to, and then you have 5 minutes to address the board on whatever it is you wish to speak about.
sure. Thank you. This is Abu Zubair. I have three sons. One goes to Hamtramck High School, two at the Dickinson East, third grader and kindergarten. So I'd like to thank everybody for doing the online classes. I know we have unprecedented times, so we're all going through a rough time. My concern is a little bit that the online classes are going. We're not computer savvy. We're not like a technology person. So we need a little more help about that class going on. Also, I think I would do a suggestion. I know I have three sons. We have one Google Chrome, but I'm lucky to have extra laptops. So we should have a different time schedule set up for 3 kids so that we can share the 2 laptops between 3 of them. So every Friday we have a 1 o'clock to class. My other son has a class, so we have a little tidying going on. So I think a school board or principal, maybe we should have come out of the schedule for all the kids so then a different time, different. And also need a more communication between teacher and parent. So we're gonna have a lack of communication going on between teacher and parent and student. Even we send a message, we reply. And we need a more help. I know we're doing 1 hour every year. My third grader do every day 1 hour class. So then after that, she's let's just go off. So in the homework, homework and Google Sheet, we know we're not familiar with that, so we need a more help from the teacher and our Board of Education thinking about it. So like a better understanding and better communication. I think maybe more time on the classroom instead of like 1 hour. I think it's not enough for the kids for there for 1 hour. And yeah, that's all. Like I think that and it's the most important thing is better communication between teacher and parents, or parents should not need to do that. And so one of the suggestions I like to my concern, like the school principal or Board of Education should have come out with an idea in surveys so we can reach out the parent. A lot of parents, the other ones, the question, how's the online class going on? So we should have find out if we need it. And I'm speak Bengali. If we need any translation, I'm free time right now. I can volunteer. I can make a phone call. If you guys want to do that, willing to do that, I'm willing to do that because we're staying home now, working right now until 28. So I think it's my suggestion to we should have come out as an idea. We should have reached out to the parent. How's the online class going on? What's the problem facing? What are your kids learning? Was your teacher helpful or Google Chrome? So or laptop Google Chrome is working well. We should have set up something like that. If and the way I said, I'm willing to volunteer. I can speak Bengali parent. I can make a phone call if you guys give me the list or anything. If we need help, I'm willing to help out. Find out, call the parents or home. Like how's the kids doing in the online classes? I know it's new for everybody. We all going to rough time. We understand. So that's all. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zuber. That was a lot of information, but very helpful, very good ideas. Thank you for your offer to help as well. Mrs. Ahmed, do you already have Mr. Zuber's contact information?
I do not. Did he add it on our audience participation sheet?
Mr. Zuber, did you sign up online at the audience?
No, I did not sign up. If we need to, I can email, or I can give me the email link, or I can send my information to you guys. Or Amran knows about me a little bit. On the Dickinson East has my contact information. Both school has my contact information. If I go through my son name, so or I can give it to you right now in chat. I put my email address in the chat room, so I can.
I just put my email in the chat, so just send me your email and phone number, and I'll make sure it gets to Mrs. Ahmed, and she'll make sure the right person from her team follows up with you to get more details about what exactly we can help with and what the rest of your ideas are. Okay?
Sure, no problem. No problem. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Just pulling the agenda back up here. All right. And then if there are no other board member items, give that a moment. Then we are on to our agenda item 8, a report by the superintendent. Take it away, Mrs. Ahmed.
All right, wonderful. It's a perfect segue from Abu Zubair's comment. So thank you very much, Mr. Abu Zubair, for the information, and also for being so proactive and willing to also support and help with this cause. So I just want to first commend the teachers, paraprofessionals, liaisons, secretaries, everyone, administrators, everyone has been on point to really get the distance learning up and running. We have schools with up to 90% participation and engagement of our students. And that's a big deal considering we're only on our second week. Do we have room for improvements? Absolutely. We have a survey that the teachers will be shared with teachers tomorrow. And on the survey, we're trying to see the level of engagement, participation that our students have, what issues the teachers are finding. And in addition to this survey, we have the parent liaisons and facilitators all working with our, and some teachers also connecting with our families. And we have identified the families that need another language, and we have liaisons that speak that language making the phone calls. So far, we have reached over 1,000 households. And the purpose of this is, in addition to doing a wellness check, just seeing what devices do our families have, what connectivity do they have, what are the needs and supports that they need, so that we can continue to be proactive and support them in this new and different kind of learning. So we are connecting, we are communicating. We maybe have not reached Abu Zubair right now, but we definitely will be reaching out. In terms of Chromebooks, for households that have more than 3 children, we will be giving another Chromebook to that family. We will be working with our teachers to see if they could maybe move some of the times for the Google Meets. That way we don't have, all the siblings at 1 o'clock on a Friday, to avoid this confusion. But overall, I couldn't be more proud of everyone at Hamtramck Public Schools. Everyone has really been doing an amazing job trying to get the distance learning moving, trying to communicate, work with our parents, work with our students, and really connect to the needs and making sure that we're proactive. So thanks to everyone for that. In terms of our mental health, this is another area that we're looking to expand our partnerships, and we're looking to create a plan and support our families and our students. We have various partnerships, and we also have various staff members in the school district that have took initiatives to create an online link with resources. We have our team working on a suicide crisis protocol for our district. So everyone's really been on point to look at our academic needs, mental health needs, and community needs. We do have a lot of families that need more food, need other resources, other supports. We've expanded our partnership from Gleaners to Detroit Friendship House and J&E Community Services. We have added an additional site, J&E Community Food Relief, to our food distribution. That will begin tomorrow. So we've been very, very responsive to our community needs, our student needs and parent needs, and we definitely welcome individuals like Abu Zubair to communicate with the teachers. Let's start with the teachers. And if you still have any issues, moving to the principal, and then to the superintendent. And by following the chain of command, you will reach your answer much more quickly. So it's really been a wonderful learning experience as we look at this different type of learning. With that being said, we have 3 reports, and we had to cram them because of the unpredictabilities of the past couple of weeks. So we would like to begin with Kosciuszko Middle School, and bravo to Kosciuszko for having over 90% of participation. This is a big deal.
Just an update, Miss.
Yes.
It's over 93%.
Oh, wow, amazing. That's awesome. So, take it on. You can begin.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing us to make this presentation. We have to do this through the computer, so hang in there for a minute. Okay. Here we go. So we're Kosciuszko Middle School, and we're going to. There we go. Go back to one. All right, here we go. Kosciuszko Middle School School Improvement Plan. School improvement. Basically, we are going to condense a a whole lot of work into about 5 to 10 minutes of a presentation. And we're just going to give you the highlights of our school improvement plan. Okay. Again, as Ms. Ahmed introduced me, I'm Mr. Riveza, I'm the principal. We also have an assistant principal, Mr. Damchik. Okay. The school improvement plan is a product of some hardworking people, which includes teachers, administrators, Dr. Seraplos, who is our school-wide facilitator. Ms. Sandra Correspari, by the way, as it states on the slide, is our coordinator. What we are missing, and if anybody out there is listening or watching this, we're missing a parent. We need a parent involved in the school improvement team. I was hoping that sometime before this crisis came into existence that I was in discussion with a couple of parents and they wanted to know how much time is required and so forth. So hopefully if or whenever we get back to school, we will find a parent who can participate. Our school demographics is a reflection of our city. We have a combination of very good teachers and some wonderful students. Our teachers are highly qualified. Okay, as you can see by this slide, our teachers actually like working, and I say actually like working at Kosciuszko, but some of them definitely like working for the district. As you can see, 17 members of our staff have been at Kosciuszko for more than 10 years, and actually 11 members of our staff have been working for the school districts for more than 20 years. Now, our teachers are, as I stated before, highly qualified. They have gone back and received their graduate degrees, master's degrees, educational specialist, and doctorate as well. Here's some interesting data. Okay. Now, in order to complete the school improvement plan, we are required to administer a perception survey to students. And this perception survey was administered in an 18-19 school year, so a year ago. And this is some of the data that we received. Now, just some clarification, where it says 55 students disagree that students are respected, that refers to the students' relationship with each other. There was a question before this particular question that stated the teachers agree or disagree. The teachers treat students fairly, and the answer to that question was about 70% agreed. So this refers to students' relationship with one another. So based on this, and based on the results of this survey, we got together and analyzed it and decided, okay, what are we going to work and what will our focus be for the 1920 school year? And our focus will be positive behavioral interventions, multi-tiered system, and in our academic classes, there will be thinking maps and numbers talks. So positive behavior intervention has to do with intervention and support, which tries to teach positive behavior. Just like we teach math and science and social studies in a classroom, behavior has to be taught, and students have to know the expectations and be taught with these expectations. Some of the key behaviors would be, for example, respect one another and respect each other. As a matter of fact, at Kosciuszko, at the beginning of the school year, we have something called PBIS, or Positive Intervention and Support tours. Teachers take their academic support classes, which is a group of about 20, and we actually walk around the building and demonstrate what is the behavior that is expected over there. All right. We also look at how their behavior is affecting the achievement in students. And for example, tardies were a problem. And in September, we talked about students and expectations of the students of not being tardy, being on time to class. And during the month of September, for example, 272 students qualified for the celebration. After each PBIS event, okay, we do have a celebration, thus the reward comes in. And 270 students qualified for the celebration. In other words, they were not tardy during the month of September. Now we have other celebrations. As you can see in here, students get to choose if they want to spend some time outdoors in our landscape area. They want to, some students choose to go. We have an afterglow event, which is basically a dance for young people in the gym, and some students choose that. All right, so as with this PBIS intervention, we have opportunities to grow. I mean, we look at how PBIS can be used within the classroom, and in Tier 1 and Tier 2, we look at opportunities to respond. In other words, are all students given the same opportunity or to respond by the teachers? For example, teachers, instead of asking to recite an answer, the student, he can say, "Oh, how many of you know the answer?" They can raise their hand. So some of the students, instead of talking, they feel much better in just raising their hand. All right. There's also the 4-to-1 positive interaction. This works very well with the teachers. The students themselves have not perfected it yet. For every negative interaction, there should be 4 positive ones. Okay. So you start with, "Well, thank you very much. You've been doing a great job," and continue on. But then you give the negative answer. Okay. And then active supervision. And active supervision, this has to do with inside and outside the classroom. Okay. Active supervision basically is teachers and the adults in the area must supervise them, must get involved with, not just stand there and watch a student do something, but get involved and talk to the student. Okay. Tier 2 has to do with check-in and check-out. Students get a paper. Okay. In there, they have, when they walk into the classroom, they check in with the teacher, and then once they walk out, the teacher writes. Now, this is basically for one behavior. For example, the student has problems with blurting out answers. So at the end of the hour, the student did not blurt out any answer, so the teacher writes, "Okay, he had a good day today," and so forth. So the actions that we will take are small groups, professional development. There's opportunity for professional learning communities every month. Okay, teachers can talk to each other, peer mentoring, and the administrators look for this while we do our walkthroughs. Now, the MTSS is multi-tiered systems of support, and this is in the umbrella of the PBIS. They're very much related, but the MTSS is a little bit more targeted. Okay, and as with MTSS and PBIS, they run by committees. So teachers get together and decide for PBIS what reward they're going to have. But the MTSS, students are referred to the MTSS committee by teachers, and then there's an observation procedure and so forth. And again, we work with specific students for specific behavior that has been exhibited. And as is with PBIS, the opportunity for growth again. We want to see fidelity in the classroom, like everybody's doing it. Make sure that the staff is aware what the MTSS process is and they know what the tier 1, 2, and 3. We also look for, because sometimes if a student has been referred to for multi-tiered system, we need to have a flexible schedule because it might require our student, for the student to have their schedule changed. So, and as before, professional development, PLCs, and now, academically, we have something called Thinking Map. And Thinking Map is basically is a language of visual patterns, and it's based on supposedly how children and human beings think, and they think in clusters. Right? So our Thinking Maps are part of the graphic organizers that we used to use when we went to school, but it's extended a little bit more. So the next slide will show you exactly what the thinking maps look like. And there again, different patterns, different thinking maps, and these are used in discussing and analyzing a reading selection. It is not very unusual to walk around, especially in the language arts classes, and watch a student before he's doing an assignment to kind of do one of these. And it looks like doodling, but the students are actually organizing their thoughts and how they can do a better job and state what they're thinking about. All right. Our opportunities, like with the other things, we have to make sure that it's being implemented, especially in the language arts, social studies, and science classes. Teachers are using it with fidelity. Again, professional development opportunities have been given to the staff, and they can discuss it in their PLC. Okay, and the administrator has to look for it. Okay. In the math classes, we have numbers talk, number talks. Okay, in other words, there's a discussion about numbers, not that numbers do the talking. Okay, number talks is basically, it's the old breaking the ice thing. In the beginning of the class, the teacher gives or puts on a problem in a whiteboard, in a blackboard, or whatever it may be, and the student, without using calculators, without using the computers, they try to solve the problem in there. And then based on no one has the wrong answer. Eventually they will come up with the wrong answer. Whatever the students are doing, the teachers kind of names the strategies of what the students are doing. So the students are learning, even though they may be doing the wrong, or they may be getting the wrong answer, they go through the strategies, and the teachers and the other students discuss it, and hopefully eventually they will get the correct answer. Okay. All right. Again, this strategy, we want to see it full implemented in the math classroom. Number talks will give the math teachers in different levels the same vocabulary. We want to see it used with fidelity. And math has a fear, so students, by having a discussion before, they kind of overcome that fear. This is a partnership that we have with RISA. Number Talks was introduced to us by the RISA coaches, and they have had professional development for our staff. Again, they attended PLCs, and the administrator has to look for it as he does his walkthrough. As you can see, everything that we do, from the staff to the administrators to everybody, we strive for the Kosciuszko Middle School students. We want to get them educated. And I thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, contact me or Ms. Hodanovic.
Thank you, Mr. Vezai.
Mrs. Ahmed, Mr. Aveza, you don't have to share right now if it's not on the tip of your tongue, but I'm curious if the PBIS strategies that you all focused on for this school year based on the 18-19 data have had positive impacts, if we have some evidence of the key areas that we're focused on actually improving or not?
Mr. Major, I couldn't point to you the exact data, but overall, I can tell you that it does. It has. Okay, students are behaving differently. We have, well, one thing that comes to mind is based on the office referrals, the number of office referrals and the number of suspensions has gone down. Okay, and
That's great.
Again, I can't tell you right now. I can't tell you the exact data, but I know, and if
we can definitely share that with you.
Yeah, it's okay. A later time is okay.
Yes, we have monthly reports, so we can look at that data and see exactly, how this has improved. We were hoping to do another data or survey for our students in March and April.
It's getting hard to hear you. It's kind of staticky.
Yeah, Mrs. Ahmed, you just got real staticky.
I was just saying that we would like to have an updated perception data. It should have been done March or April. I'll follow up with the team to see if we can still squeeze that in for this month.
Yeah, that seems hard, but I'll leave that up to you guys. Okay. Thank you for that presentation. Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Veze?
Can you share the presentation with the board?
Yes, I will share all presentations with the board members.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, could it maybe just be a folder on the G Drive for us with all the schools' presentations?
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Thank you,
Mr. Veze.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vezai. We're going to move forward with our next presenter, Mr. Veranek from Hamtramck High School.
Good afternoon, board members and Ms. Ahmed. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're loud and clear, and congratulations to you on your growing family, sir.
Yeah, thanks. I've got my my camera off. I was in a meeting right before this one, and I've got there's a little bit of chaos running around over here and noise, so forgive me if
completely understandable. I have the same.
Can you see the presentation on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I am Chris Veranek, Hamtramck High School principal. And yeah, just like Mr. Avezi did, I'm here to share out our school improvement plan for this current school year and then for next year. I've included my contact information. I believe I've had email contact with all the board members, as well as some social media presence here. We've been successful in engaging our students with social media, especially during the school closure here, just to get all continuing kind of the flow of information out. So be sure to follow us if you guys are active on Instagram. So our school improvement team at the high school it's a large group and they're dynamic, and we've got a big group who wants to be involved and have their voices heard, which is awesome. So our administrators are all involved, and we help run some breakout groups. Like I said, we've got a large group of dedicated staff members who are represented and really help us bring initiatives to the next level. So shout out to our staff representatives. We've got 22 who are there week in and week out. We've been meeting every Monday, especially during the closure here. And also our PLC leaders. So our PLC leaders at the high school, we really lean on the PLC process and the PLC leaders in particular as a group of experts who inform decision-making processes, especially as it relates to increasing rigor, relevance, and engagement in all of our core subject areas. So our PLC process, we've been meeting once a week, even during the closure. Throughout the school year, it was every Wednesday, with the goal of increasing rigor in our defined areas that we've created as essential standards. And we've really tasked our PLC leaders, and they've rose to the challenge when it comes to really spelling out a success criteria for each of those main standards. And like I said, they've taken that and they've run with it, and they've done an awesome job. So we're continuing to build the rigor in our classrooms, continuing to build student engagement, and our teachers have a lot of confidence in that work that we're doing. So our demographic information, I'll start off on the student side. We've increased pretty steadily over the last couple of years from like mid 970s to where we're at now, which is 1020. Our demographic information, in terms of our breakdown, it looks just like the rest of it's basically a good snapshot of our district. In terms of our school demographics, what you'll notice here with the staff, now we've got 55 gen ed teachers. We've got a great mix of newer teachers and veteran teachers who have tried different initiatives and been here through different leadership models, and who really help their voices be heard. But our new teachers and our veteran teachers alike, I mean, in that school improvement slide, the previous slide, it's a nice mixture of everybody. But what you'll notice there in that staff demographic is we have used some of our title dollars to increase human capital in our building, specifically as it relates to supporting struggling learners. So for example, you'll notice we added a reading specialist, Mr. Rob, this year. We've added a contracted extra counselor, so now we're up to 3 counselors. We've changed one of our academic behavior interventionists just to focus primarily on 9th graders who are at risk. So what that's helped us do, kind of shifting how we use some of that title money, is 2 years ago, when we look at students who are critically below grade level when it comes to reading and writing and math, we were servicing just around 50% of those students, what I call like double dipping. So they're getting more than just going to algebra class. We provided extra math support. We're up now close to 90% of those students getting extra support services. So like I said, we've been intentional in terms of how we spent our title money to make sure those students who need extra support in an equitable fashion get that support. So points of pride. This was tough to fit onto one slide here. I think our number one point of pride is our students. I think all of our board members and I think a lot of our members of public have walked our halls at Hamtramck High School. And when we get members from the county in, when we get members from colleges in, when we get guest speakers in, I think the most consistent compliment I get is, man, your hallways are quiet and your classes are thriving. It just feels like a place where students are learning. And I attribute that to the leadership of our students and our families to start off with. And as well, obviously, as our dedicated staff. Our students, so our attendance rate is, we're above the district average. We're at 95 to 96% a day. It is rare for high schools to be at the top of the district average. Like I said, our students are leaders. They take their education very seriously. They've bought into the standard that we've set for them. Our teaching staff. So it's fitting that this is at the end of Teacher Appreciation Week. Our staff, especially when we look at the crisis that we're in right now, needing to be flexible, needing to really do whatever it takes to connect. Our staff has risen to every single challenge. Hats off to them. They are problem solvers, they're leaders, and they're proactive in every way. And I know our students will echo that. So we're top scholars. I mean, we've got a student who's gotten into every Ivy League school this year in full scholarship. Each year we get at least 10 students, ballpark, 10 on up to 20 full rides to U of M Ann Arbor. Double that, getting full rides to MSU. So $7 million last year for the class of 2019. When you look at scholarships and grants, that's a lot of hard work to get that all of our FAFSA stuff together. We've created flexible scheduling on half days and school years to make sure that stuff gets completed. Our school improvement team and our administration, we've worked hard to, I mentioned with the title work earlier, but create equitable opportunities across the board. So our students who are struggling, they are getting, a different education than a student who's maybe reading at grade level or above grade level. They're getting extra support. And on the other end of the spectrum, for our high achieving students, we've continued to add advanced placement classes each of the last couple of years. We offer dual enrollment classes. We're exploring expanding career pathways as choices in our course catalogs, where we would like all of our students who so choose to choose different career pathways to complete their high school experience with work experience. So for instance, if you were to choose like a healthcare related field, we have our awesome clinic right in Hamtramck High School. We'd like to give you an internship right there. For those who like to choose an IT field, we got Mark Wilkinson and his tech team right housed in our high school. We'd like to give an internship right there. So we're working hard with Miss Paul, Miss Ahmed, to really define some pathways. Students wouldn't be forced to jump into any of those pathways. They could take a traditional college prep pathway. But we really want to create something that can compete with any school, not just in the county, but the state. Our partnership with the Randolph Center in Detroit Public Schools has opened up great doors this year for students who are looking to enter a trade. Our CTE course offerings are awesome. They're competitive. We've added a coding class this year. Ms. Ahmed is supporting us as we look at a cybersecurity course for next year, which is very rare in the state of Michigan. It would create open a ton of doors for our students, especially our bilingual students who have these type of skills. People would be knocking down the doors to get them hired. So wide range of English language support, tier 2 and 3 reading and math support. So I alluded to that in the previous slide. Our extracurriculars, this is a major point of pride. Our DECA, we sent 3 kids to nationals in Nashville. Unfortunately, that was canceled, but we did get to see, we pulled home a bunch of medals at the state championship at Cobo. Great drama program, great music program. Robotics takes home state honors. The list goes on and on. Our boys basketball team was making a deep run into the state playoffs before that was shut down. So we've opened up new clubs every year. This year, for instance, the Spanish club. We've got the chess club up and running. So our students have a ton of opportunities and they take full advantage of those. So this current school year that we're wrapping up on, this slide here will show really what we focused on as a staff. Academically in the classroom, what our teaching staff focused on, what our social emotional department worked on, and what our counseling department worked on. I talked a little bit about our PLC groups. Like I said, we're using DeFore's PLC process to put rigor in the hands of the experts, which are the teachers, and to have them really continue to align with state standards, spell out a really clear success criterion, and build in rigor and engagement. And they have done a phenomenal job at that. It's really a 2-year process that we're in year 1 of. So we have RESA coaches who are working with our teachers. We have our curriculum department working with our teachers and our administrators. So we're really proud of the work we're doing there, and we're getting a lot of good feedback from our coaches. Mr. Avezai talked a little bit about PBIS, which Charlotte Danielson calls Domain 2, which is Classroom Environment Relationships. That was all of our focus of September and October. We felt that from informal observation and surveys that was actually a strength in our building. And that proved to be accurate. So that was really a focus for the beginning of the school year, but we shifted gears then towards what Danielson calls 3B. So building in rigorous conversation in the classroom. And that's going to be a part of our 3-year plan. We're doing a staff book study right now in that area. We're going to be doing very structured instructional walks next year and for the next 2 years as a staff in that area, because we want our students doing more than 50% of the talking in every single class period. We know who those who talk the most learn the most. Our social emotional team, our goal was to, for the 3rd straight years, cut office discipline referrals. We cut them in half 2 years in a row. This year we wanted to cut by 25%. We are on track to do so. Same with suspensions. We've done so by being very proactive with our social emotional behavior support team, which is social workers and interventionists, on seeking out the students who need the most support, pushing into their classrooms, holding circles, impromptu circles, planned circles, impromptu stops in the hallway. But we are very targeted with who we support. We're also very flexible. We've been successful in these areas. Our counseling department has been very, very proactive this year, meeting with individual students in terms of figuring out what it is that they're interested in doing after high school. They're tracking that data, and they're continuing to do so from home right now. They're still seeing FAFSA appointments as we speak. So overall, we're happy with the progress we've made this year. When we look at academic data, so the PSAT 9 and 10 are fairly new to the state of Michigan. And at the high school level, what we're judged on is mainly the SAT that students take in the 11th grade. So so if you look at the far right-hand column here, 9/11 was the highest that our school achieved in the SAT era 2 years ago. Last year, we saw a dip, as did the rest of the state of Michigan and the national average. We were not happy with that, but we have strong conviction and reason to believe that that was just a one-year aberration. So if you look at the cohort of 2020 and the cohort of 2021, if you look at their 9th grade PSAT data and their 10th grade PSAT data, you'll notice that those scores are more in line with where we were when we were on that 9/11 trajectory. Now, I mentioned that our teachers, they're very confident in the rigor that they are building in their unit plans. We are keeping kids in school much more than we were even during that year we achieved 9/11. Our attendance rate is significantly better. Our suspensions are significantly lower. Kids are in the classroom more. So I feel strongly that that 740, that 9th grade class, that we're going to be achieving great things and blowing that 9/11 out of the water there. We do believe that as a staff. So in order to get there, because our school improvement team, when we talk about SAT, which is obviously just one metric of success, we talk about achieving the 1,000 mark. And how are we going to get there? So we're going to continue a couple strategies, one being the PLC work. So planning intentionally to build in rigor that is aligned, build in student engagement opportunities that are aligned. We want students doing the majority of the talking. We know we are an EL district. We cannot just talk at our students. This isn't like, they say like the 1990s college lecture model. We're not in a lecture hall here. We need our students rigorously discussing, debating, inquiring. So that's the model that we're putting into place. Our school improvement team is in the process as we speak of building full 3-year implementation models on SIOP, the Sheltered Instruction Observation Protocol, which what I call is just great instruction. It's best practice for EL students, but it's really best practice for all students. So that's really what that looks like is bringing reading, writing, listening, and speaking into every lesson. Again, we're shifting away from that old school model where we're lecturing at students. We can't have that. Also, disciplinary literacy. In a nutshell, it's bringing reading across all content areas into every classroom in highly engaging ways, pushing vocabulary in highly engaging ways. So we can read and write in the math classroom, definitely in the social studies classroom, but across the board. I'm a social studies teacher by trade. I can tell you in college, I was given, I think, 2 reading classes. And our reading coaches tell us, and best practice and research tells us, a reading teacher needs more training than a pilot in terms of hours. So that's training we want to give our teachers. We want them all to be reading experts because that's really the name of the game when it comes to preparing students for college, reading and writing. Overall, what we seek to do, it's to reach excellence in everything we do. And we're going to do that through working together as a team, building collective efficacy in terms of what we believe in. And that's not just our staff, that's getting our students to buy into our standards, our community to buy into our standards. They're going to help set our standards. Our approach is student-centered, it's proactive. We're going to continue to set the standards high, create well-balanced students who are ready for life after high school. And as a school, we're seeking in the next 3 years to hit that 1,000 mark on the SAT. So thank you for everybody for your time. Again, if you have any questions, obviously you can ask them now. You can always shoot me an email. So thank you.
Thank you. That was great.
Mr. Majors?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Lucas.
Question for Mr. Veronik. Is it something? Do you know if our students have received their notice of grants and or whatever scholarships for different universities, and if so, what the total amount might be?
So that's a good question. Those are starting to come in. We have not compiled all of the data yet. And the reason being is we're still chipping away at our FAFSA and TIPM appointments. And we're getting support from Wayne County on doing that. So we're setting up hours every Tuesday, Thursday in that area. But we will definitely have that information ready to go. We're not there yet.
Okay, thank you. Let us know when you have all this information.
Will do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the group?
I have a question. Has the high school implemented some kind of volunteer requirement for students for graduation, or?
No, we have not. You know what? I'm glad you asked that, though, Jihan. That's something we've discussed, and that's something we're seriously looking at. But currently, that is not part of the graduation requirement. I would love to do it. I think there's some really cool things we can do to even integrate some of that service work into the school day, but we have not yet. No.
Okay, and then I wanted to say the social media presence has been wonderful. I'm following you guys on Instagram, and the counseling page is just on it in terms of keeping things up to date. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, they're doing an awesome job. I'll pass that along.
Yeah, and my appreciation to you and your team for those tremendous attendance and discipline numbers and data and trends going in the right direction is really, not just remarkable for high school compared to our district, but compared to a lot of other schools and a lot of other districts. That is a goal that is often espoused and not often met.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to pass that along to our social emotional behavior team and all of our teachers who've done a ton of work there. So thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Veronik. Excellent presentation. You hit a lot of important pieces that are definitely points of pride and some of the work that we still need to do. Ms. Ayash, we are definitely exploring volunteerism and making that a requirement. We see a lot of students that have this as a part of their criteria, for example, like our Honor Society. That's something a part of what they have to do. I'd like that to be for all students. I think that volunteerism really pushes students to learn about themselves and have a better idea of what they want to pursue. So we would definitely explore that and bring that back to the board for your input.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so without any further ado, we have Ms. Hurt, principal at Horizon, who is our final presenter.
Hi there. Let me just work on sharing my screen.
Okay, so
can everyone see that?
We see you, but we don't see the presentation yet.
Don't see the presentation. Okay, one sec. Okay. I was practicing with this earlier too, so. What? Let me get my tech team. 1 second. Hey, Mark. So I see the power.
I'm wondering if Carol is online, if maybe you could present it. Is that a possibility? Mrs. Paul?
I know, but she's, hold on. Whoops.
Sure. Let me look to see if I have it, okay?
Okay. Might be much fun.
You know what? No, you don't have the latest one, though, with the pictures.
Oh, okay.
All right, Mark's coaching me through. Okay, present now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So when I bring up the PowerPoint, I see it, but it's my whole screen. It's up. Yeah, it's queued. How about that? Hey, all right. Thank you, Mark.
Good job, Kristen.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
see it now. Thank you.
All right. Sorry about that. All right, I'm Kurt, principal of Horizon High School, and I'm here to present points of pride and opportunities for growth for Horizon. Our school improvement team consists of Ms. Cartwright, she's our adult ed navigator, Ms. Callahan, our counselor, myself, Mr. Wozniak, he's a social studies teacher, and we're also proud to have an HPS parent on our school improvement team. Ms. Adina is a lunch lady at Horizon, and her son also attends Hamtramck High School. So we're pleased to have her participate. And also, of course, the wonderful Dr. Mike Seropoulos guiding us through. Okay, staff demographics. We have 8 general ed teachers, 1 part-time counselor. She's shared between Horizon High School and our adult ed program. We have 2 social workers. We have Miss Bruley come over from the high school as well as, okay, sorry, I'm trying to find my notes here. But we have 2 social workers, paraprofessionals, and we have 1 special ed teacher, Miss Nagel, who comes to us an hour per day from the high school. Right now we have 167 students, but that number does fluctuate a lot during the year. We have many new enrollments during the year, and we also graduate students at the quarter. So far this year, we've had 23 graduates, and 13 of those actually graduated just this past March. We're very male heavy, as you can see. We have 128 boys to 39 girls. 40 students in ELL classrooms, and that's divided equally between level 1 and level 2. 43% Arabic, 20% Bengali, 29% African American, with the 6 special education students. We have a wonderful staff. Some are new to the profession with at least 6 years, so maybe I shouldn't say new, but definitely getting their feet wet. As well as teachers that have been in the business more than 20 years. We did have 3 new teachers due to 2 retirements last year, and we also added a language arts teacher due to our enrollment numbers. All are highly qualified. All teachers are just wonderful, being there before and after school. We have Mr. Wozniak volunteering for chess club, Miss Coral for a mindfulness group that meets on Mondays, Mr. Lala works with a number of kids for SAT prep. And if they're not running a special club or working with drama, they are tutoring before and after school. Another great point of pride is the amount of absenteeism by teachers is very, very low. We average 1 to 2 absences per month from teachers. All of my teachers are leaders and collaborators. They work very, very well together. They're community driven. They're always looking for ways to reach out to the community with the students. And I would show this video here, which kind of just really captures the heart of the students and the staff working together outside, cleaning up the streets and the alleys around the schools, both Hamtramck High School and Horizon. But since you'll be getting this presentation emailed to you, I'll let you look at that at your own leisure. Points of pride for our students. Also, like I said, a strong commitment to community and school. We have very few referrals per month. Our average is under 5 referrals per month. We have a very low suspension rate so far. Before we left for the school year and transferred into online learning, we had 13 days total of suspensions, and that was shared between 4 students. So we're very proud of the very few referrals that are written. We had students perform, very happy to perform at the MLK breakfast, and many of them were English language learners, which made it even more special. We have a published author. One of our students, Famida Mahima, is part of a journal that is put out by the Michigan Reading Association called Kaleidoscope. And one of her writings is there, so we're very proud of her. We have 10 students on the Student Action Team. That is a team that is run by Henry Ford Health System, and they have been in our district, more than 10 years now. I started working with them when I was a counselor at Kosciuszko, and they have followed me everywhere I've gone in the district, and they're still working with the students at Horizon. They meet every Friday. Mr. Leslie's part of that. And that's a group that just really concentrates on how to get kids to move more and eat healthier. So far, that's been a great success. And another thing about our students is the drive and determination. We have many, many students, especially male students, that are holding down full-time jobs and attending Horizon. Some of them even come to school in the morning just getting off their midnight shift. So you talk about drive and determination. They are really amazing when it comes to that. And one thing that I'm most proud of is our graduation rate that's going up and our dropout rate that's going down. You can see in 2014, that was before I arrived at Horizon, the grad rate was 18.4%. I looked at that and I said, no way. So we've been working on that ever since, and as you can see, we've almost tripled that percentage. One opportunity for growth arose from our parent and student perception surveys that we gave out last year at the beginning of the year. 80% of both parents and students wanted to see a stronger presence of parent interaction and collaboration with the school. And it was also expressed in student surveys that some kids did not feel connected to the school or felt that they had a meaningful connection to at least one staff member. So that, really sent us into a plan for action because we didn't want any of our students feeling like that. So during the summer, all of us came together weekly to determine a plan for how to increasing parental involvement. We planned an innovative calendar, which included a week and a half of orientation days at the front of the school year. So that beginning week in September was just filled with meeting students and their families. Every student met with every teacher, and not only teachers, but paraprofessionals, the secretary, the security guard. We included everybody on that orientation. And I should not forget also the lunch lady, Miss Sedina. Kids knew everybody in the building, along with at least one family member. This was a great way to set the tone for the year. The parents were very happy. This also led to an increase in attendance at principal forums. They felt so welcome right at the beginning, and a general willingness to take an active role in their students' education. So that orientation really, really did everyone well. Also, after we finished with the orientations, we wanted to just set the tone and strengthen the bonds right from day one. So after orientation, we had a picnic and students introduced themselves to each other. They competed against each other and ate lots and lots of hot dogs. And they left that day feeling that they were part of something. And here's some pictures from that day. Academically, we do have room for growth. We have a lot of room for growth. Typically, our state testing scores are quite low, with 0% of students scoring proficient on the M-STEP. Our SAT numbers and PSAT numbers are not where we would like them, but we do see growth with NWEA, with at least 40% of students showing growth. And here you can see really the areas that we need to work on. So our action plan, with the help of Russ Robinson and Carol Paul, we've increased the coaching, and coaches are in all content area classrooms. They are coming more frequently, at least twice a week in some subject matters. Also, in addition to the increased orientation times in the fall, we also built increased opportunities for Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions. So Horizon students have 2 half-day Fridays per month. On these half days, teachers are available in the afternoon for small tutoring groups. We also have the counselors working with the students on FAFSA and applying for college. So a lot gets done on those half days. Students also attend seminar daily, and this time is used for strengthening skills, working on turning their incomplete grades into credit-bearing marks, and of course their credit recovery courses. Also, with the help of Carol Paul, we have Read 180 and Math 180 operating successfully at Horizon. So we're very happy about that. Our students at Horizon have faced many challenges in their life and in their education. Some have large gaps in their education. Some have never passed a class when they have come to Horizon, or even earned 1 high school credit. Some are the sole supporters for their family, and some are raising families of their own. But all of them are shining stars, and we want to help see them through these challenges and overcome these barriers. And so at the end of every quarter, we do recognize our students with attendance awards, academic awards, and also attitude awards, shining awards. And here's some pictures from some of our award ceremonies where we remind them really how brightly they do shine. And that's it. Let me come back for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Hurt. That was amazing.
Thanks.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Hurt?
No, I just have a comment. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for our district's continued investment in our ALP Ed program. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. I love my job. I love the kids. I love families. I've been here for a long time, and it's a wonderful place to be.
And there couldn't be a better principal. I knew you since I was in middle school, and you're still as wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I assume you know, but it's worth stating that there is a reputation of care and arms that get wrapped around you when you're at Horizon. So I want to extend my appreciation as well, and that of the boards.
Thank you very much.
Could you actually, there was a previous board meeting where a question came up about the student action team, and I tried my best to fumble my way through an answer. But could you clarify the role that the original student action team had in the district's current smoking policy?
Yes, that goes way back with me and Mr. Avezai. So that was, over 10 years ago. That time flies by. But we worked really hard, and we did make board presentations to make every campus a 24-hour smoke-free zone.
Right.
And that even made the Detroit news. I'll have to find, I don't know if Mr. Vezai still had those, but, or still has them, but that made the Detroit Free Press and the Detroit News. So we should definitely find that and share that. That was exciting.
That's good. Yeah, because there were some policy updates that were being recommended to the board that were allowing the board to option for or against this 24-hour ban. And there wasn't clarity on if we already had that in place and what the origin of that was. And I knew your team had a role in that. So
yes, we did. Yeah.
And we're leaders across the state in that, from what I remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, they always of our schools and our student action teams is the best in the area. So we get a lot of kudos for our kids on the team.
Cool.
Can you also send the publication of your student to me? I'd love to read it.
Oh, the Kaleidoscope? Absolutely. I'll get with Carol Paul. And yeah, everyone should have a copy of that. There are other students in the district that were also published, so that's so exciting.
Yeah. Definitely.
Super exciting. So good. Thank you.
Great. Any questions for Ms. Hurt while we have her? All right, then. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hurt, for your proactiveness. We're looking forward to seeing academic boosts for all of our students. It's so wonderful that, you are taking time to celebrate. That's important for us to always remember. We need to celebrate to motivate. So thank you.
Sorry, I was muted. Ms. Ahmed, is that it for your presentations?
That's it for today. I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow, and thanks to Manham for sharing, the U.S. Navy Blue Angels are going to fly over Metro Detroit, and they are going to appear. We will have some planes over Hamtramck, the flight path between 11:30 and 11:51, and this is in recognition of our first responders. So that's just a nice thing for all of us to acknowledge, and hopefully through social distancing we could view from our homes. So that's about it. I commend our administrators for their the presentations tonight. As you can see behind all of these plans is a force of educators, and by educators, I'm talking about our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our liaisons, central office admin, our school leaders, our secretaries. It really, really is a community effort. Everyone is taking part in the learning and teaching student in our district. So that's something to be proud of.
Yes, thank you. And I mentioned this with previous groups, but just for our presenters tonight, I know it's a unusual forum, and you can't guarantee the message is landing by looking in our eyes, but I know we are all here anxious to get these presentations because it really does help us have a fuller picture of the district and of what needs and strengths are in different buildings, so that when we make bigger picture decisions and priorities, we are taking that into account. So it is important for us to hear what you had to say. So thank you. All right, then on to our next agenda item, which I believe is our adoption of our check register. You pull that up. And that is resolution number 3, approval of invoices and check register. Do we have a motion?
Made.
Yes.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Shaukat.
Okay, motion by Mr. Chowdhury, seconded by Mr. Lucas. Resolved that the check register for the period of April 16th, 2020 through May 11th, 2020 as enclosed be approved. In favor, Mr. Obaid, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Ms. Ayash?
Aye.
Mr. Chowdhury?
Aye.
And Mr. Major, aye. In favor, the motion carries. Thank you all. On to resolution number 4. Wayne RISA 2020-21 budget information was all in our Google folder for us to review. It's our annual opportunity to ask questions and approve and or reject the budget as presented to us from the county. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Lucas.
By Mr. Obaid, seconded by, was that Mr. Lucas?
Yes.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question about it.
Go ahead.
So I was looking at the shared drive of things in it. Do we have any say on what can and can't be added, or are we allowed to get clarifying things on the budget, or how does it work?
There is absolutely a input period, which is passed. Obviously, we're at the point of adoption. If there were clarifying questions, ideally, before we vote on a resolution, ideally that would be, asked prior to the meeting. But if you do have a specific question at this time, if someone does have the answer that's present, we can try to take this opportunity to help you.
Yeah, so for the local sources in their budget, does that come from each individual district in Wayne County or no?
Mrs. Lynham, if you
Sound
have,
open.
I'm not sure of exactly what all of their local sources would be. I know there's the enhancement revenue in there that comes from all of the Wayne County district's tax base. And they also have Act 18 funds, which is another tax-based millage. Other than that, I'm not sure what all is in their local budget for revenue. But I could find out and get back with you on that.
Those are definitely two big chunks of it. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Lynham. A large percentage of the RISA budget is pass-through money that they refund loss of words, sorry, that they reimbursed local school districts from other sources, mainly federal and state dollars, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, thank you. All right, any other clarifying questions for Ms. Lynham or Mrs. Ahmed on the RISA budget? And then we can get answers for you, Jihan, about how to have input in future budgets.
Yep, okay, that sounds good.
All right, then let me pull my agenda back up. Whereas this board received the Wayne RISA General Fund operating budget on or before May 1st, 2020, and whereas in accordance with section 380.624 of the revised school code, this board must now adopt a resolution expressing its support or disapproval of the proposed RISA budget and submit to Wayne RISA board any specific objections or proposed changes that the board may have prior to the budget prior to June 1st. So there you go, Ms. Ayash. Proposed changes are accepted. Therefore, be it resolved that we must either check in favor of adopting the general fund operating budget or a amended version with our proposed changes. So I did not hear any specific amendments be offered at this time. So we are going to vote on the first indication, the Wayne RISA General Fund operating budget for the 2020-21 school year be supported, and that the Secretary of the Board is hereby directed to submit a copy of this resolution to the Secretary of the Wayne RISA Board of Education along with comments. I'll make a slight adjustment there to direct our president of the board to submit the copy of this resolution. All in favor, Mr. Obaid, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Ms. Ayash?
Abstain.
You're aware that it was recorded as a no vote?
Yeah, that's fine then.
Do you
So
have
nay.
clarifying questions that can be offered so that you have the appropriate information to make a vote?
Say it again.
Do you need more information to be able to make a vote?
Yeah, I do. I want to either do my own research before we have to submit the budget by June 1st. But I'm not sure if we're meeting before then to be able to do it. So if you guys have the majority, I would just move forward with the 9.
So for the future, the appropriate time to get clarifying questions if you are not sure about what's presented to us is before the meeting. But we can record your no vote. Mr. Chowdhury, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Major is aye, in favor of the budget as presented. The motion carries. Thank you all. On to resolution number 5. This is the reapproval of the specific language that will be placed on the ballot. Last meeting, we approved the information to be sent to the state treasurer. This is what the voters of Hamtramck will see, which is the same language as previous, but with updated dates. Therefore, resolution number 5, approval of bond proposition. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Oh, second.
Mr. Obey, seconded by Ms. Ayash. Any questions, comment?
And we've already discussed this, right? But there's really no way to speak in layman's term. This is as good as it gets, right?
Tragically, this is as good as it gets.
Yep, that's fine.
Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of School District of the City of Hamtramck, Wayne County, Michigan, as follows. It is necessary and expedient to improve school district facilities and sites as described in the bond proposition set forth in paragraph 3 of this resolution, to finance the cost thereof by borrowing money and issuing bonds of the school district in the principal amount of not to exceed $35,265,000, and to submit a proposition relative thereto to the electors as hereinafter provided. Special election is hereby called, and the following bond proposition is hereby submitted to the electors of the school district at the election to be held in the school district on Tuesday, the 4th of August, 2020, which date is a regular election date pursuant to the provisions of Act 116, Michigan Public Acts of 1954, as amended. Bond proposition. Shall the school district of the City of Hamtramck, County of Wayne, Michigan, borrow the principal sum of not to exceed $35,265,000 and issue its general obligation unlimited tax bonds for the purpose of defraying the cost of constructing a new elementary school building, constructing, erecting, furnishing, and equipping additions to and remodeling, furnishing, refurnishing, equipping, and re-equipping existing school buildings, developing and improving sites, and acquiring, installing, and equipping instructional technology, infrastructure, and equipment. The estimated debt millage to be levied to pay the bonds proposed pursuant to this ballot is 7 mills. The estimated millage to be levied in 2020 to service the bonds is 7 mills. And the estimated simple average annual millage rate required to retire the bonds of this issue is 6.81 mills. The bonds will be issued in one or more series payable and not to exceed 30 years from the date of issue. The school district currently has $0 of qualified bonds outstanding and $0 of qualified loans outstanding under the school bond qualification and loan program. The school district expects to borrow from the program to pay debt service on these bonds. The estimated total principal amount of additional borrowing is $5,437,913, and the estimated total interest thereon is $7,791,931,000. The estimated duration of the millage levy associated with that borrowing is 36 years, and the estimated computed millage rate for such levy is 7 mills. The estimated computed millage rate may change based on changes in certain circumstances. The president and secretary of the Board of Education and the superintendent of the school district are authorized to do all other things that are necessary or convenient to the conduct of the election by the school district. All resolutions and parts of resolutions, insofar as they may be in conflict herewith, are hereby rescinded. Votes in favor, how do you vote, Mr. Obaid?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Chowdhury, Mrs. Ayash? Ms. Ayash?
Use.
Are you with us still, Ms. Ayash?
She gets the comment, yeah, aye, on that comment.
Okay, thank you for that. Ms. Ayash, if you're able to tap in with your voice vote, that would be most beneficial. Mr. Chowdhury, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Major, aye in favor. I will wait a moment. See if Ms. Ayash can reconnect.
I think she have a problem with, to say it, with the microphone.
Yeah. Okay. We will record her vote, text vote, as in favor, pending review of if that's allowable. But with or without, the motion carries. Thank you all.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear you.
Okay, it works now.
Okay.
Aye, if you need it verbally. I don't know what happened.
Thank you. Voice vote is helpful. All right, we have ourselves a new election. Get ready for what comes next.
Yes, we're excited and we're ready.
Yes. All right, resolution number 6, approval of schools of choice. Do we have a motion?
Shaukat.
Motion by Mr. Chowdhury. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Obaid. Ms. Ahmed, can you confirm that this resolution is just a confirmation of our available spaces, and that this is following a downward trajectory in space available in our district?
That is correct.
Thank you. Any other questions? Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education is hereby direct administration to implement Schools of Choice Option 105 within county for grades K-12 during the 2021 school year for fall enrollment and following the guidelines below. Applications for K-12 are limited and will be accepted from June 1st through June 30th of 2020. Seats in K-5, 5 per grade, and 6 through 12, 1 seat per grade will be open.
Wait, and this is for people that want to come into the district that are not Hamtramck residents, correct?
Correct. Within the county are the guidelines, not the district, but the county.
No, right, but I mean, like, if you're not, this is just for the people that want to come into Hamtramck that aren't necessarily from within the county, right?
No, it's for people who are not within the school district but are within the county.
Oh, okay, yeah, so we are, okay, got it, I understand.
Okay, any other questions? All right, how do you vote, Mr. Obaid?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Ms. Ayash?
Aye.
Mr. Chowdhury?
Aye.
And Major, I in favor. The motion carries. Thank you all. Is there anyone else who has joined us for audience participation? Please unmute yourself and acknowledge yourself to the board, and we'll let you get started. Okay. Not hearing any. Our final agenda item of the evening is adjournment. I just want to say before offering this resolution, thank you all again for presenting, for bearing with us, being flexible with everyone in this new format. Please look out for communications about relaunching our bond campaign, and as we find new ways to collaborate with and communicate with our community about what we know are essential improvements to the school system. This will require not only the full involvement of the board, but from as many members of our staff and extended family and community as possible. There are so many unknowns ahead of us in terms of what communicating with and campaigning looks like, but I think based on your experience with the online learning program. There is a high potential for contact if we can manage to organize our energies in the right way. So thank you all for what you've done so far, for guiding us down that road to this point, and may we continue to build on your successes to strengthen the school system for the long term. That said, on to resolution number 7.
Motion.
Adjournment. Motion by Mr. Obaid. Do we have a second?
Second.
By Ms. Sayash. Resolved that the meeting be adjourned at 5:50 p.m. How do you vote, Mr. Obaid?
Aye.
And, Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Ms. Ayash?
Aye.
And Mr. Chowdhury?
Aye.
And Major, aye in favor. The motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Ahmed.
My pleasure. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Thank you.
Right.